So today we're out here flying this. This is the Antigravity A1 by a brand new company called Antigravity in affiliation with Insta360. And this is literally the world's first 360 drone ever made. And today's actually the first day that this drone is publicly available. So you can actually go out and buy it. And yes, it will be available in all major markets, including the United States. I'll have a link in the description below if you want to go out and actually purchase the A1 today. Now, I've been lucky enough to be flying this drone for a couple of weeks. Antigravity did send it out early, and this video is sponsored by them, but they don't have any say over the final video. They're not even actually getting to see this before I post this. So you're getting my genuine and unbiased feedback. Now, you're going to see a lot of videos today out on the internet talking about the specs, the battery life, comparing it to other drones. And I think those videos are actually going to miss the mark, because in this video, I want to talk about what the actual experience of flying the A1 is like, because this drone is a first of its kind experience. I've been flying drones for many, many years. I do FPV, I do traditional drones, and the Antigravity A1 offers an experience that you literally can't get on any other drone. So we're just gonna be out here today flying the drone, and you're gonna see me do that. I'll also be editing some of the footage from this flight back home on my computer afterwards, just so you can see how to reframe 360 video, just in case this is your first time ever dealing with 360 video and you don't know how it actually works. I'll also walk you through that. So definitely stick around until the end if that's something that you're interested in as well. And real quick, one last thing I want to mention before we actually get in the air: this drone does have 3 components that work together in order to help make it fly, and you're gonna see all those work together in the video once we actually get flying. But just so you have some background information, the 3 components include the goggles. So I've been wearing them throughout this video, and these allow me to see what the drone is actually seeing. So I put these over my eyes, and that's how I know where the drone is going. Secondly, we have the joystick, or the single-handed controller. This works a lot like a Wii controller. You're just going to point to where you want to fly in the goggles, which you'll see shortly, and the drone will go. And then finally, we have the Antigravity A1 itself. This drone is 249 grams, so chances are it's legally compliant wherever you live, and it's super easy to fly with and film with. It shoots in 8K at up to 30 frames per second, and it does have obstacle avoidance, which hopefully we don't have to use, but you might see in the flight. Okay, cool. So let's get started. So if I look over to my left, I can actually see myself. So that's one of the first cool things about this drone before you even take off. You can actually just look around, and because it's a 360 camera, you're able to look around in your surroundings, and you can even do this while you're flying, which you'll see in a second. So to get started, there's a small little slider on the controller. You just pop that up twice, and that's gonna start the motors. And then once the motors are started, you can see it says motors on at the top of my goggles. I just hold up, and that's gonna push the drone up 1.2 meters. And there we go. So a little high, or a little close to the roof, but now we're gonna fly out of this gazebo. So basically all you do is you just point this joystick, so you're gonna see this virtual little target, and wherever I point to and then I slowly press the trigger, that's where the drone is gonna fly to. So we're just gonna fly out of this gazebo, and now we have like this whole kind of little area for us to play with. So now if you turn your head, for example, and then you push the controller this way, that's like an easy way to turn the drone. Another way you can turn the drone is that there's this little scroll wheel. So this lets you pan from left to right. And this is what we're going to kind of use to get out of this area. So I'm just going to hold down the trigger here, and we're just going to fly real quick. Now, once again, just like before I took off, I'm going to take a quick pause here. I'm going to show you that because this is a 360 drone, it's possible to look around, which is really cool. Now, this is something that I've never been able to experience with any kind of drone. You can even look down. It's kind of trippy. So this is kind of like FPV without all the pressure of FPV. I can even just take off my goggles and look at the camera, and I can hop right back in without worrying about crashing my drone, which is always a worry in FPV. You got to be always locked in, and that's something you don't have to worry as much about with the Antigravity A1. So let's carry on. I'm going to point the trigger here, and then I'm going to pull. Just so there's a lot of tiny little branches. I don't want to hit anything. So you can see the sensors are kind of warning me here. Not the best place to fly a drone, but we're going to make it work. I'm going to turn over here, and I'm just trying to find an exit out of these woods, basically. Let's see if maybe we can go this way. Okay. Sensors are going a little crazy, but you know, I have a lot of experience flying FPV drones, so I'm not too worried. But if you're a beginner, maybe pick a little bit of a safer location to do your first flight. And we're almost through. Okay, cool. So now we're out of the woods. Taylor Swift song for those of you that know. But yeah, now we're flying with the Antigravity A1, and it's really cool. Like, this is one of the coolest flying experiences that
I have ever had the opportunity of doing on a drone. And again, it's really, really easy. This drone is super intuitive to fly. Just keeping an eye on my signals in the bottom. It says video signal blocked, fly with caution. Okay. Anyways, this drone does have return to home built in, so even if I lose connection, it should fly back, hopefully. Now, the reason I flew out here is I actually wanted to show off some of the capabilities of this drone. So I'm going to pop open the menu here. Now, if you've ever used like a Meta Quest or like a Apple Vision Pro, like something like this will be very, very similar or familiar to you. Even like having used like a Wii, it's very familiar. So we're going to go ahead and pick, let's go with Sky Genie. So this lets you perform some traditional drone moves. Now, I use these kind of drone moves in my work all the time, so this is really helpful to have here. So I'm going to go ahead and select orbit, hit start, and then it's going to ask me to hold down the C1 button. Now, I kind of struggle with this because you can't really see the remote, but if you hold down the C button and then select your target, just like that, it's going to take a second to measure the subject. And then once it's good to go, usually it'll let you know it's ready to track. So it still says measuring subject. So it moves left to right, as you can see, just to measure. And then once it has the subject locked in, you're going to see this icon. And now you can see in the corner, I have like all these options for like what I can do. So if I press the C1 button, then it's going to go ahead and start the orbit. And there's like a small progress bar at the bottom, so you can see the percentage loading. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that do its thing. And you can see it's pretty cool. So I'll show you the 360 video from this afterwards as well. Obviously, the quality in my goggles is not going to be the highest compared to the actual final output footage that you're going to see. Again, this drone is recording in 8K video at up to 30 frames per second. It is important to note that 8K video is very much so just the 360 video. When you do the final output, you're still going to be outputting in 4K. I feel like that's something that a lot of people get confused, and they think that, hey, I'm getting 8K footage. It's actually going to be the 4K footage that's going to be the final output. It happens to everybody that's new to 360 video, but hey, it's cool to see and have that flexibility anyways in a 360 camera. And just like that, the route is complete. I can back out of this menu. I can hit the menu button, and I'm still recording like full. So like you can see at the top that my goggles are recording as well as my screen. So yeah, that's the main reason that I came out to this little lighthouse here, to kind of show you guys that orbit feature. Also, you can see it's not really the best day to be flying a drone. It was snowing earlier. You can see from all the fresh snow. But the A1 is flying well. It's doing well. And I wanted to put it through its paces in a little bit more of a challenging environment as well. So it's cool to see that it's performing really well here. So again, now I'm just flying back. That H is really, really convenient. So as you can see, it shows me where I started. And it's really easy for me to pick the direction of the drone. I can just kind of turn my head, and that becomes like the new direction. It's super, super easy and intuitive to fly. Anyone that's never flown a drone before will be able to fly this without any kind of issues. Now, something cool I want to show you is that the drone actually goes where the controller is pointed to and not actually where I'm looking. So that target is really, really important. Now, this is a bit trippy to do, but basically if I point this straight up, you're going to see in flight, I have this little window at the top that's showing me where the drone will actually go. And if I bring that back straight, then once I'm in frame, the target, it'll show me that's the direction that I'll be flying in. So if I point this straight up to the sky and then I look down, so you'll always see like a little bit of a landing zone whenever you look down, and this is super trippy. But if I point upwards and I pull the trigger, the drone starts to rise while you're looking down. And this is one of my favorite features of the A1. It's something that I've never seen in any other kind of drone. It's really, really cool. And it's super, super trippy and really, really weird to get used to. But yeah, the drone goes in the direction where you point the controller. And that's really, really important to note, because some people might get confused and they might be looking in a different direction and pointing in a different direction. It's important to know that's not how it works. You always have to make sure that your controller is pointed where you want to go. And that's really it. But again, the drone is a 360 drone. So with all these features, you're able to fly in different directions and look in different directions. And it's really, really cool. It's a unique way to fly a drone that I've never, ever seen before. And then similarly, if I want to come down, then I just point the controller straight down, and then I'm going to press the trigger, and that's going to start lowering my height, like you can see in the bottom right. So I'm starting to come down now. Let's get a little bit closer to the ground, just so I have a little bit of a better video signal, because I am standing inside this gazebo. And there you go. Now we're back at like ground level. And again, really, really fun. A lot of fun to fly with the Antigravity A1. I've noticed that it is really, really fast. Also super, super responsive. Goes where you want to go, when you want to go. Obviously, latency is always tricky inside of goggles. You don't know if you're seeing all those tiny little branches. So I'm going to come in a little slow here as I re-enter the forest. All right, there we go. There we go. Yeah. The sensors have done pretty well, honestly. Like, they do go a little bit ballistic when I get closer to branches, but it does a pretty good job. Oh, there you go. No, I couldn't see those branches until I got in closer. And okay, almost back to the gazebo. And here we are. So this is where I first started. And I do have the emergency brake on so that it should theoretically not let me hit anything. I haven't hit anything with this drone yet, but yeah. Why don't we go around a little bit more? This flight hasn't been that long and we've still got plenty of battery life. But yeah, as you can see, it's really, really easy to fly. Anyone can do it, even if you're a beginner, even if you've never ever flown a drone, even if you've never flown FPV, because you have the ability right here. For example, if I'm getting a little bit nervous and I want to stop, I can just let go of the trigger. I can look around, make sure everything is okay. I can even take off my goggles and just have a bit of a breather, you know, just relax and make sure that I'm comfortable and I'm ready to go again. Now, I don't think I would risk a gap like this because it's not as accurate as FPV, this little thing, this little motion controller. I would feel a lot more comfortable if I had an actual FPV controller. So I'm not going to try and shoot that gap. But again, as you can see, even with not having a real FPV controller, moving around in this forest with tons of different obstacles is not really an issue. Now, this might be difficult with something like a DJI Mini, for example, just because you're not as locked in as you are with goggles. And anytime you have any kind of goggles on drones, it's a lot easier to fly. It's a lot easier to dodge specific objects and anything like that. But here, that's the Antigravity A1. We're gonna bring it back here. Oh, so the brakes kicked in right there for me. As you can see, I almost hit that branch. I didn't see it, so we're just gonna turn, go around it, turn back this way. Hopefully there's no hidden branches here. Clear path in. Okay, and I'm just gonna try and come back the same way that I came out initially. So we're gonna punch out to here. We're gonna rotate, still not lined up perfectly. Punch out a little bit here. Okay, and this should just bring us in. I'm gonna come in slowly because the sensors are getting annoying. Okay, cool. Now there's a few ways to land. You can just point at the ground and hold the trigger, or the same slider that we used to take off. You can go ahead and just hold that slider down and the drone will land on the ground. So we're just gonna hold that down. And there we go. That's the completion of our flight.
Okay, so real quick before I let you guys go, I'm home now and I'm on my computer, and I just want to quickly show you how you would edit this 360 video if you were to film it on the Antigravity A1 and how you can reframe in post. So right now I'm in an app that's called Antigravity Studio. I've already imported some of my clips that I filmed using the drone, so we'll use this one as an example, and right now it's playing, and it's really easy to reframe. You literally just grab your mouse onto the footage and you can drag it around and change the perspective of your video. You can also use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. So right now I'm zooming out, which brings me further away, and then I can also zoom into the footage. Now, while zooming out, if I sort of pull it inwards, I can create this inverse planetary effect. And then same thing, if I go the other way, I can create this tiny planet effect. So it's really, really easy to manipulate the footage. Now, if you want to create any kind of keyframes where you want to animate a motion, it's also really easy. You just hit this plus button right here, and that's going to lock in your keyframe. And then you can go ahead and play the video. And then if you wanted to change at some other point, so for here, for example, you would pause. Good time to have an error. So let's do that again. So this was our keyframe. So come here, you would pause. And then you literally just turn the camera to where you would want it to be, and then you just hit the plus again. And then you'll notice that if I go back and then I play this footage,
it literally animates the footage to that perspective. And that's literally it. That's how you reframe 360 footage. And yeah, that's what it's like to experience the Antigravity A1. Personally, I wouldn't get lost in any of the noise. This drone is all about the experience. And if that's what you're looking for, a new experience, I think the Antigravity A1 is definitely for you. Hopefully you got what you were looking for from this video, because that's it. I'll see y'all in the next one. And until then, keep creating.